Chelsea Blue.
Hello there, I'm Jonathan, this is Gary. We're Chelsea Blue Review, and we're going to be talking about the 1-0 loss to City at the FA Cup final, which we both attended, where we played reasonably competently. I find it quite difficult about losing 4 FA Cup finals in a row, particularly Reece James, who's got 4 runners-up medals. But we've clearly lost the winning mentality, which has been something that I'm afraid the new owners have instilled into the club with their bizarre policy of youth and no experience. And we'll be getting onto that later because, of course, Xavi Alonso has been appointed manager, which I don't know about you, Gary, but it kind of softened the blow for me.
It did a lot, actually, for me as well. But I don't know whether you felt this, but I actually felt, and this is actually very much about what you were saying about losing the winning mentality. And I thought in that game, and you're absolutely right, we did actually play well. We competed with them pretty much for most of the game on a pretty equal sort of basis.
Yes.
Yet through that game, I never thought we were going to win the game. And I can't really explain why, except to think we've been so battered by defeats over years, the last few years of losing many cup finals, as you say, 4 in a row, and not having a winning mentality. That I just thought, somewhere along the line, someone's going to get a chance. It's not going to be us. It'll probably be them, and they'll score.
Yeah, I felt exactly what happened.
Exactly what I felt. It was a great goal. I mean, he took it really well. So I can't fault the defence for that particularly, but we just seemed to be knocking at the door. I think we had 1 shot on goal, the whole game.
Yeah. The last third has been the major problem, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Under Clear Lake, full stop, just all the time.
Yeah.
There was a brief period under Poch when, in fact, we seemed to be able to score goals at will.
Without that, now we're looking. I mean, João Pedro, who's terrific, but he's a one-man band up there most of the time.
Yeah, he had a terrific game, and he tried so hard he did his hamstring. So we probably won't see him against Spurs. And then the alternative, it makes you realise how ludicrous their purchases have been, was Delap, who, once again, the very first thing he did, there was a 50-50 ball to run for, and he just ducked out of it.
And he had that header right near the end.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've never made a good, because he just went miles wide. But I looked at it and thought, well, he was in a good position. Surely he could have done better.
He was unchallenged. Yeah. He didn't have to leap very high, and he failed to hit the target. He was about 10 yards wide. And
that was well wide. When you look at him and think, well, that was actually a decent
chance. It was a decent chance. It was a
get
chance.
It on target. If he maybe not get it on target.
Well, a proper centre forward is going to practice that all the time and be able to get it into the far corner away from Trafford, the goalkeeper.
So he's he was doing what he's been doing all season, which is basically nothing at all. But we did have periods in both halves when we sort of looked like we could trouble them. They were a little bit troubled. I mean, Trafford had a couple of fumbles and bits and pieces, but I just never felt we were going to get that goal. And once they scored, then of course we were sort of
impossible. Well, actually, we did rally after that, and I think we had the penalty, one of the penalty shouts.
I mean, looking at those penalty shouts back, I mean, I think the decisions were correct. None of them were penalties, I don't think. Not clearly, anyway.
I find it very difficult. I found the one where Pedro was it Fofana? I should say Fofana was entangled, and the other player. Got his leg.
That was the best shot, but I'm best chance of getting it. But I don't know if
he got his leg entangled in his, and I always feel that they're very forgiving of defenders, referees in the penalty area. Anywhere else on the rest of the pitch, it would have been a foul for Chelsea. Free kick.
Yeah,
and yet somehow, because it's last ditch, and he got his leg in the middle of Fofana's leg and stopped him from running. And to me, that's a penalty.
Yeah,
even when I watched it again, I thought, "Well, it's." I'm thinking they said something like it's 2 players coming together. Well,
that's why.
He's still Fofana's ahead of him, and he's still moving towards the goal. And if you come up quickly and put your leg in the middle of the other guy's stride pattern, you're fouling him.
Well, I mean, I think the referee was very quick with all of them just to say play.
And I think that's his reputation, England. I think he works. It's almost like the European way of reffing, which is you make a decision and VAR backs you up.
Yeah,
and you just say no, I'm not having it. Whatever you want.
Well, he was very clear with his no, he's sort of waving away the 3 penalties. And then
VAR follow up very quickly.
Yeah,
I suppose there's a healthiness about that.
Well, as long as you get it right.
As long as you get it right, absolutely.
Yeah. But I think we. No, I mean, I was worried. I think as probably a lot of us were, that we might get sort of blown away by City.
Indeed, so did I, and that was never going to be the case with the way we play, which was we
Yeah,
contained them well. He kept the same
yeah.
team as played against Liverpool, other than Sanchez playing in a Petr Cech
Yes,
like
they looked very weird like
cap.
that.
But yeah, very weird.
Yes,
And
but then when
and
we
of
said,
course,
and I
and
think
Reece James played against of the instead of the strange Lavia, who I'm not convinced is we're ever going to see a player again there.
no, I don't think so. I mean, the other thing that I thought was wonderful to see, and we realised how much we missed him, is Levi Colwill,
Yeah,
who
fantastic.
was again dominant in the centre
He's a
of the
very
football.
calming influence, isn't he? He makes
And I
very
just
good
think, how
decisions.
much will that have changed our season?
Oh,
Quite a lot.
oh.
Yeah.
But you could see there was nobody has replaced him. So their
No.
decision at the beginning of the season to replace him from within was
Well,
was
that's why Maresca demanded and didn't get it. He was
myopic. He
right.
didn't get it. It was blind. They got it
Yeah.
wrong completely. There was
Yeah.
nobody in the reserves or anywhere at the same level.
Not with that quality, not because you need somebody to impose calmness, and also his passing out from the back is
He's passing
terrific
out
as
very
well.
well. I think that Maresca said that originally. He said that
Yeah.
in fact, he said he and Tosin were the best at doing that. But I think as we've discovered as the year has gone on, that Tosin's lack of mobility
Yeah, that's his problem.
holds
Yeah.
him back quite a
Yeah.
lot.
Whereas Cole's got the pace
Cole's
and
got
everything.
everything. Yeah,
But he found, I mean, he found the number of passes from him that found our midfield players in a relatively good position. They didn't always
yeah,
make the most of it, but he got the ball to them.
yeah.
I think that was missing. So we're clearly in a cup finals. We're a nearly team, which is not a winning team.
Oh.
So it's the winning mentality plus it's a lack of overall quality. We've
But
got
it's
quality.
people scoring goals, really, isn't it, as well?
Yeah,
Because
I think so. I mean, I think we
the problem with having Gusto playing essentially the overlapping fullback, the right, the wing back as right wing, wasn't in a position to cross.
no.
In fact, to be fair to him, he did a very good job against Doku. I thought
They did very well. They did well against the wing. Well, they did pretty well against Semenya most of the game. I mean, the goal came from just a very, very, very clever bit of football and a clever flick.
yeah.
That I suppose really was. You see the quality of the player there.
But it was once again you realise the small margins in these kind of games.
Yeah, yeah,
It was a Chelsea leg kicked the ball. There was a I think Hatto? The ball was kicked towards him and he couldn't quite get to it, so he deflected
yeah.
it across.
Yes, it was deflected. Yes,
Yeah, and it was then very quickly given to Haaland, and Haaland shot or crossed, who knows what it was, but then the ball is flicked in
yeah. It's just
excellently. But as you say,
cleverly.
once again, there was a kind of inevitability about it. You just think they're
So.
going to find something to do. And then when at the other end, we not only had the penalty, I think that was when Enzo had his volley after Pedro had just
Yes,
ball in the
just
air.
went
It was
over.
just over.
It was actually he did the right. He took the right position. He took the right shot. It was just
Yeah, well,
unlucky.
he was off balance as well as Pedro, I
Yeah,
think, and it was
I
unlucky.
mean,
But once again, it'd be great if we'd be able to get a goal back then, because I think it would have gone to penalties, and who knows?
well,
Mind you, by then we'd have had the front line of Garnacho, Delap,
yes.
and
Garnacho
Neto.
and Galap, they wouldn't have scored
Yeah,
probably
no.
anyway.
However, then we discovered in the evening that whether this was a wonderful piece of PR by
Yes, I'm not sure.
by Blueco. Well, I think it was. I think they
I
got
think they were planning for the worst case scenario.
yeah, they were
possible.
playing. So
Yeah,
they decided to give the news out that
yes,
Xavi Alonso has
and
been
agreed to join
been
us. Yeah,
appointed. Yeah, and I think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be confirmed on Tuesday. In fact, but I think I heard it on
Well, apparently he put it out on his website before
before
Chelsea did,
anybody else has. Okay, well
just about at the same
clearly
time. So,
accepted it, so he's doing it.
yeah,
And my spirits were somewhat uplifted. The defeat
yes.
softened, but having thought about it, what is going to happen? There are so many ifs as to what on earth will happen if
Well,
apparently he's taken the term manager rather
well,
than coach.
that's the first thing. He has been appointed as our manager rather than head coach. Now that may mean nothing, or it may be quite significant in the sense that. And apparently, the story is that Chelsea want him to be the manager. He didn't actually ask for that. They said, "We want you to be our manager." So that suggests to me that clearly there's a recognition of how much we failed this season, and they can't keep doing that. Now, presumably, that as a manager, he's going to have a much bigger say in transfer policy in and out. That's
Well, what normally happens, doesn't it, when a new manager takes over, that they've got several players from their old club that they think will make it work. And I'll be intrigued
yeah,
to see if we
yes.
get a couple of German players playing, or even
Or,
a
or he's got a
Spanish player, or even, yeah,
couple of Madrid players who are not first team choices.
absolutely, absolutely.
We did that with Kovacic in a sense. That's how we got him originally.